hopefully you've watched the process of the free consultation video before watching this video. But if you haven't, just make sure that you go back and refer to that before you watch this video. This video, I'm going to quickly discuss what is the statute of limitations analyzation with taxes, and then what is the collection statute expiration date. They are intertwined, but they're technically two different things. One is an actual hard, fast date. The other is an analysis that we take a look at 3-4 different factors, which I'm going to quickly discuss with you. As with all these videos, remember, I'm giving you generalized information. There are no two tax returns that are really the same problems and are the same solutions. So you want to keep that in mind. These videos are designed to have you be comfortable with what to expect with talking to me, so that you'll want to reach out and discuss this with me further, or discuss your issue with me further. So with that being said, basically, the statute of limitation analysis encompasses taking a look at what your problem is. If that's back taxes that you haven't filed, that means looking at what is the statute of limitations for them to still take collection action against you. And when I say them, I'm talking about the IRS. So if you have filed back returns and you owe money, that's going to be a completely different situation than somebody that hadn't filed any returns at all. Okay, and basically somebody that did file returns and owed money, most of the time those people, there is a collection status that is now running, that there's only so much time for them to collect that from you, which is where the collection statute expiration date comes in. Okay, so in particular with my clients, if you move forward with me with the statute of limitation analysis, one of the first things that I do is get a transcript so that I can see what exactly has been going on with your account. I ask you to provide me paperwork, but by getting a transcript, I can also see what the IRS is doing, what notices that you might not have gotten or forgot to bring in. I'll be able to look at that. If they've done, in cases where you haven't filed back returns, if they've done what is called a substitute for return for you, I'll be able to see that by getting a transcript on you and being able to see when a collection statute of limitation starts. In general, the general rules here, okay, is that if you're due a refund, you really only have 3 years to make a claim against that refund. Essentially, in certain circumstances where if you have file a fraudulent return, or you've underestimated the income on the return, in those cases the IRS is going to have up to 6 years to still audit your return. If you don't file any return at all, that means no statute of limitations ever starts, and basically until you file a return or the IRS files a return for you, essentially there is no statute of limitations. Now, in cases where you've got statute of limitations that have taken place, i.e. you have filed a return and you can't pay the back tax, in those situations right there, there's where there's no two cases that are really the same, because if the IRS did some years of substitute for returns for you, and then you've got certain years that you owed money on but you filed yourself, essentially right there, there are 2 or 3 different scenarios that can come up that I could really negotiate with the IRS examiner to see, even about getting time told on extension of refunds, essentially. Because if they're going to want those years, and they're going to want a batch of years together, let's say they want a batch of 6 years together, okay? In some years you owe money, some years there are refunds, okay? Well, in the years that are refunds, if they're outside the 3 years of statute of limitations, however, the IRS agent agrees that lowers the tax debt, because then the person would be in a non-collectible status if it wasn't for that. These kind of negotiations can start to take place. So, doing a statute of limitation analysis is something that basically gives a general idea of what the IRS's position is going to be, and then what your position is going to be, and we can look at, really the time frames of what, I think will take to really kind of hash these kind of things out for you, and kind of, really get more in depth on what the consultation can't really do in that short amount of time.